Hey everybody, Kenny here. Just a little housekeeping before we get going. My Path of Exile builds are intended for casual Path of Exile players, so if you're looking for something to help you blast through pinnacle content, this isn't the place. That said, as you would have seen from the thumbnail and the title of these videos, I am theming these based on skills from the Dragon Quest franchise. Since if you've checked out my videos at all, you may be aware that I am passionate about action RPGs and JRPGs. They're my favorite genres. So blending the two was just a no-brainer for me. And in the off chance that at some point in the future my channel blows up and you're watching this when I have a high enough subscriber count that such a concern might actually be warranted, I assure you, this is not a sponsored video. Time of recording, my subscriber base is far too small for any big publisher to pay me any mind. So, not worry, this isn't some billing to promote the new Dragon Quest Monsters game or anything like that. It's just a fun idea I had for theming my content for this league. That out of the way, let's get going. So why Blockenspiel, and why is it the theme of this build? In Dragon Quest 11 and 9, Blockenspiel is essentially a shield bash skill that you can invest in the shield line of skills in Dragon Quest 9 to attain, and that you can invest in the skill tree for the character Hendrix in Dragon Quest 11 to get from there. So pretty straightforward. If Blockenspiel is a shield bash skill, then shield crush is our main attack skill, right? Well, it goes a little deeper than that. I didn't theme this build around Blockenspiel because I wanted an excuse to use shield crush. I themed this build around Blockenspiel because I love that name. The Dragon Quest series is full of puns, from town names to character names to skill names and so on. And to me, Blockenspiel, that's just chef's kiss. That is just such a good pun. The peak of punnage, if you will. So when I designed this build, I didn't design around the idea of making some kind of shield bash build. I built around the name. So this is, while I am using shield crush and shield charge in this build, the main form of damage that we're using here is that this is a block build. We are fully committed to the blocking life and retaliation, so we are using Reckoning, Riposte, and Vengeance. Now Vengeance doesn't require blocking, that's just you get hit, eventually you deal damage. But I decided that I wanted to make it a little spicier. So let's get our buffs going. First we'll turn on Petrified Blood. Then we'll turn on our Clarity. Then we have a Purity of Fire. This entire intention is just to get us below 50% health. Turn that off. Now we can turn on Precision. Now let's see it in action. Hello everybody. It's me. How you doing? Have a good time there? I'm having a great day. Oh, come on. You can do better than that, can't you? Oh, well. I guess you couldn't. So, what is it we have going on here? I figured something fun to try out would be to take the Elemental Equilibrium keynode, which causes exposure on enemies that are dealt any form of elemental damage. So if they take fire damage, then they gain exposure to ice and lightning. If they take cold damage, they gain exposure to fire and lightning. If they take lightning damage, they gain exposure to fire and cold. And so each of our retaliation types deal one of those specific damage types. So our Reckoning deals lightning damage, our Riposte deals fire damage, and our Vengeance deals cold damage. With our Petrified Blood up, they work very well. Now, obviously, we aren't limited to retaliation, so we've got Shield Crush to be a more active participant, but we don't have to be. And that's what makes this build fun. Hello there, Valeria. What you got for us? I'm home. Did you miss me? Guess not. Hey there, big guy. Yeah, just super effective fun. And definitely highly recommend this one. So how do we put this guy together? Gear-wise, we're rocking all armor and evasion. So defensively, we've got decent amount of physical damage reduction and evade chance. Our resistances could be better, but we make up for that with the fact that we are essentially avoiding all elemental status ailments. So even if we don't have the best resistance against cold damage, we almost guaranteed won't be chilled or frozen. And lightning damage is unlikely to shock us. I'm using a fully untyped, just pure physical damage main hand weapon. Obviously the purpose of this is so that we are not contributing any additional elements when riposte triggers. Our shield is also armor evasion. It was a shield that I got during the Crucible League, so it also has increased lightning damage and makes it that some of the physical damage that we take from hits is taken as lightning damage. This Parandus Blazon is just a belt that this character always has on. It's just there for the additional stats and fire resistance. They're wearing a crit chance ring, and that also has physical attack damage leech. But we're really only wearing this for the additional life. Then a Tempest loop, so that way we have some additional strength on top of that, along with a little bit more life and more resistances on top of that. So we're riding high on fire resist. Our helmet has more fire and cold resist. I could go and put in the effort to balance these out a bit so that I'm doing better on cold and lightning than I currently am, but that's not the point of the build. The point of the build is to show what's possible, doing a retaliation build with the Gladiator. I also got the fortunate roll on this helmet so that I have increased block recovery there. And our shield has a ton of increased block recovery as well. Our boots, we crafted some extra resistances there, so we weren't completely fire focused. Our chest has some decent maximum life, as well as also some more block recovery as well. Then I'm wearing an Uraku Tiki, which really doesn't hold any significance here other than the fact that it's giving us some additional life regen while we're on low life, and it gives us some additional flat life and even more fire resist, which at this point isn't necessary. Now for our gems, where of course we're using Petrified Blood for the additional damage reduction, shield charge and enduring cry. Shield charge just for getting around faster, and enduring cry as an emergency heal. On our shield, we are supporting clarity and purity of fire with arrogance so that they preserve our life instead of our mana. On our helmet, I'm supporting vengeance with cold penetration, added cold damage, and ice bite. On my boots, I am supporting reckoning with added lightning damage, ruthless, and overcharge. Reason for this choice is that overcharge reduces the damage that your attack skills do, but makes it that the damage you deal is able to shock at a much higher rate than as if you were to be using a much more damaging skill that was lightning based. And of course, in order to make that work, you have to have lightning damage as part of the equation. We did the added lightning there. And then Ruthless makes it that occasionally our Reckoning will hit harder, which will make the shock from overcharge even better, which in turn will make it that whatever retaliation skill that follows that up will deal significantly more damage. And on our gloves, I am supporting Riposte with added fire damage, fire penetration, increased elemental damage with attacks. And on my chest, I have my precision aura, then my shield crush just being supported by faster attacks. I'm not investing in shield crush as my primary attack skill, since to me, my retaliation is my actual attack skill, and the purpose of shield crush is just to play a more active role in combat. For ascendancy, I picked the Gladiator because we are able to invest in block chance. So this first little node gets you a little bit of extra attack speed as well as extra chance to block attack damage. Then Pain Forge gets us a very large amount of additional chance to block attack damage. Makes it that we can't be stunned by hits that we block. And our counter attacks deal double damage. Works great with what we're doing. We went down the left side branch for the extra attack physical damage and knife, the extra armor and evasion on knife, extra attack physical damage, extra strength, melee physical, and regen. We went up for mana flows for the extra mana regen and intelligence. Headed out through this way for the extra strength, intelligence, and to get to this shield cluster here to get extra defenses from our shields, increased block chance, and increased damage while holding a shield. Then we got the shield mastery. It gives us increased chance to avoid elemental ailments while holding a shield. We headed down into this shield cluster here for even more damage while holding a shield, more defenses while holding a shield, more block chance with shield. Went into the Golem Blood health cluster, the extra life and the extra regen. Then into the Cloth and Chain cluster for the extra armor evasion and elemental resistance. Then through the Art of the Gladiator path for the additional dexterity, the ignoring of any armor penalties, the extra accuracy, for dexterity and intelligence. Of course, we got our elemental equilibrium for the synergy between our retaliation skills. Down into the crystal skin cluster here. We get more chance to avoid elemental ailments, big boost to avoiding being chilled or frozen, boost to our elemental resistance cap, and that big boost to avoiding elemental ailments. Then for the protection mastery, we took the corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, which is a very important one to get for a build like this. We headed down this way for the extra stats. Head into this cluster to get courage. Then we have our extra evasion and armor. We have increased armor if you've been hit recently, increased evasion if we haven't been hit recently. And we took the armor evasion mastery that makes those values even better when the opposite is true. So we have a bonus if we haven't. We have a bonus a bonus to our armor if we have been hit. We have an even bigger bonus to our armor if we haven't been hit. And we have a bonus to our evasion if we haven't been hit, and an even bigger bonus if we have been hit. That's just a great synergistic way to boost your armor and evasion. And down this way, we went into the life and ailments cluster to make it that we can avoid elemental ailments while boosting our life. And got a big boost by grabbing all of those, so additional 20% total there. This cluster here, we aren't really using. This is for if we need to shut down marked enemies, shut down our regenerative enemies using marks. But I don't have any marks equipped. This is here specifically if the situation comes up. Your mileage may vary. Take it, don't take it, up to you. And here's the most important part of the entire build as far as I'm concerned. Up in the deflection cluster here, we're able to get even more block chance, increased elemental resistances while holding a shield, even more block chance on top of that, chance to gain endurance charge when we block. We're here in the shield cluster, get more chance to block while holding a shield, increased attack while holding a shield, increased block recovery and block chance, increased block recovery and block chance, then Testudo, which gives us a bigger boost to our chance to block attack damage, much larger increase to our block recovery rate, makes it that we recover some life every time we block. And with all that investment in block chance, what that lets us do is pick up Versatile Combatant. Now what Versatile Combatant does is we essentially lose out on a lot of our block chance, since the default maximum block rate is 75%. We're no longer capable of achieving 75%, but for every percent of our chance to block attack damage that we have over our new maximum of 50%, we gain 2% chance to block spell damage. So if you manage to get your block chance overcapped by 25%, then you give yourself 50% chance to block both. I'm not there quite yet. I would need to grab the Shield Mastery, which is the next point that I would get here. The Shield Mastery that you see, the second from the top there, 1% chance to block attack damage per 5% chance to block on the equipped shield. Since our current shield has a 24% chance to block, we would get an additional 4% chance, and we only need 3%. So right now you see we have 44% chance to block spell damage, and getting that mastery would get us up to 50%. And that's the build. Hopefully you guys decide to try out something similar to this. If having a more kind of passive build is something that interests you. And if you haven't tried it out, the Dragon Quest franchise is amazing. One of my all-time favorites. I highly recommend it for anyone who is interested in the JRPG genre. But as always, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, I appreciate doing our YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Vae Victus, Vires and Numeris, and bye.